Square Enix, another. This was announced like today, I think. Speaking of crowdsourcing again, so Square Enix is going to launch a crowdfunding initiative that they're going to be involved in called the Collective. It's extremely interesting, and I can see other companies maybe following suit. So what they're going to do is have people basically pitch ideas to them for games and put it on an open forum and have people, after they review the idea, see if it's viable, have people vote on if they'd want to actually see it. And at that point, I guess Square Enix will get involved and back the idea through their own, their own Kickstarter, Indiegogo. Actually, it's Indiegogo.
It says Indiegogo.
So it's almost like marrying from what, crowdsourcing to now this is like crowd and company sourcing together in a way. It's almost like the company is listening to the fans, going to take certain ideas and run with them and see how they do with an Indiegogo. And that's still minimum risk to them because they have an idea that people are going to be vested in through their pitching of it, and then in the public seeing whether it's going to be viable, and then getting funded partially at least through the public eye. It's actually a great idea.
I like it mostly. It's vetting. They're vetting out these ideas, and I think if you're, depending on what you're doing, depending on the particulars and fine print, if you're a developer, it's not bad, especially if you're fresh, because you can go to now. The worthwhileness of Square Enix's name at this point is debatable, but you pitch an idea to a company, and if this company likes it, if the community likes it, you can go into your Indiegogo fundraising drive with way more confidence than you would.
Yes.
You'll have actual feedback. You're not just putting it up. You're not just getting your friends and your family in your ears telling you that this is a good idea. You are actually having industry veterans behind you being like, yes, no, and maybe. And that is a good thing. It, to me, is a little outside of what crowdsourcing is supposed to be, but I don't see that as a bad thing. I think it's a good use of it.
Sure, this is also a cool part of it. The publisher, according to this article, won't be turning away projects without explanation. Though actually, developers will get a full explanation for any pitches that don't make it through due diligence, and provide suggestions for what it might be to complete the game. That's really cool. At least you're going to have like a real video game company say, "Hey, this is why we don't think it'll work, or this is what you need to do to improve it." That's fantastic. That's so rare. For something like that to happen. There was a similar thing for Hollywood Scripts. Kevin Spacey's, I can't remember the name of it, where you something with street in the name, I think it was, and you would pitch ideas but other people would tell you if it was good or bad, but it wasn't the actual company. This would be like if I went to Universal, or Sony, Columbia, and be like, hey, here's my script. Well, we don't like it, but this is why. That would never happen.
They give you a rubric back with notes.
Yeah, right.
Like, that would be nice. The other interesting thing about this initiative, if I remember reading the article correctly, is they're actually not opposed to you potentially pitching ideas that use their IP.
Yep.
So if someone like me really wanted to make a Threads of Fate sequel and I could pitch a really good idea for it, maybe I could get that to happen. So that's kind of cool. If you go through them, you can potentially use their assets. So
Do you think though that what sort of cut you think they would have? This isn't going to be free. Do you think if they run say they get behind it, say you give them an idea and we're not developers, say you give them a great idea and they get behind it, obviously they're going to take a cut, especially if they produce it. I guess that's what their side of it's going to be.
Well, that's what I said earlier when I said it really depends on the particulars of it. I like the way it sounds, but it almost does sound too good to be true. It depends on...
it's not going to be free.
Well, I know it's not going to be free, but obviously not. I really would be interested in knowing what kind of rights they will hold on your game if it does not use their property. What's the cut they're going to take? A lot of times these things that sound really great when you read the fine print end up being things that developers want to stay far, far away from, because if they don't get to retain control over what they make, then, they could make the game, make money off of it, Square could boot them, and Square could take the property that they've made and continue it on without the original. So, we don't know because we haven't read that far, but I'm just saying the idea in a perfect world sounds very interesting.
Again, you described the Hollywood system with screenwriting. You can sell a script, and your script could only retain the main character's name and the title. It'd be totally different, but you're paid for. Sorry, that's what you get. That's the nature of it. That could happen. And again, that's your choice, though. That is totally your choice.
Right, it is. It is. and there's a couple recurring themes this podcast. One is crowdsourcing. The other is read the freaking fine print on things. Like,
Yeah.
make sure you know what you're getting into before you click that yes button.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, it's gonna be interesting to see. But yeah, we could even pitch an idea. You don't have to be a developer. You just have to have an idea, and then see if it gets vetted and see if the crowd likes it. And then, who knows? And then the one good thing about it is that if it's Square Enix getting involved, it's not going to be one of these. You hear these horror stories from these games that never get made. The money disappears, and they, you know what I mean. That wouldn't happen with Square Enix backing it. If they're going to get behind and develop the game, they're not going to take $100,000, $200,000 and not make the game. If they're the one running it, that'd be awful. PR. You're looking at me like I'm strange. You think they would actually do that?
No, I'm not saying that they actually would.
The whole system would collapse. That can't happen one time. People wouldn't trust the system.
I'm just
if
saying,
they're investing their time and money and they're going to make the game.
Crowdfunding is shaky. I'm saying anything can happen. I don't think they would, but I'm saying that you can't rule that out.
You can't rule it out, but
I know. I'm saying. I guess maybe we're talking about two different things. You can't rule out failure. You can't rule out the game failing, just like any other game in development would fail.
But if they're running the Indiegogo campaign and getting the money up front, they don't have a risk. It's only going to be, they're basically probably going to get the money to make their game, and then after that, it's going to be profit. So what the hell?
Sure.
They're basically looking at people doing like the Mighty Number 9, be like, why can't we do that? But we're going to go one step further and get people's ideas they want to see. All
right. I mean, I don't know. Like I said,
I think there's a lot of good potential here.
Over the course of talking about it, yes, I agree. There's a lot of good potential. But the more we talk about it, the more I just think of things that have happened in the past that are similar, where you pitch game ideas and people will be like, "Yes, we will help you get it out there." And when you read the fine print, it's just awful for everyone. And well, it's awful for the people who are making it.
Well, but again, it could be one of those things that you either never see it made at all, or maybe. But again, it's going to be vetted through the process. They're going to say, we like this idea. So if they change it too much, I'm thinking that when they do this platform, they put it online, they're going to have like basic design template of what it's going to be and the features, and then people are going to vote on whether that's a good idea or not. So if that actually changed dramatically from that until the finish, obviously everyone's going to know, and they're going to be pissed because the game that they vetted is going to be totally different. So again, that's too much of a risk. The whole platform of the collective depends upon it being transparent and then following through on what the people want.
Yeah, I mean, we're thinking a little bit further. I mean, really, we're just reacting to the announcement, and I think it could be very cool. We'll have to wait and see what more comes out of it.